In order to learn it all, we have to be open to identifying what learning even is. See, I didn't understand that learning is a skill and it has to be developed every single day. And it has to be developed every single day because we have to spark the curiosity to learn about things that we are not familiar with. This taught me that learning has to be practiced on a daily basis, because if it's not practiced, we often forget the lessons on how to learn. See, what I've learned is that we have to be taught the proper way to withhold information, be comfortable not knowing everything that's around us. What I've learned is that when we learn it all, we're learning things that we have no clue about. When we learn it all, we give the belief that and time and effort to recognize that we don't understand it, but yeah, I'm willing to learn it. But we have to be a learner of all to grow into our best version of myself. Hey, what's going on, everybody? My name is Terryl with the Humphrey, and welcome to Failure is Knowledge. If this is your first time here at Failure is Knowledge, make sure you like, subscribe, and wait towards the end. Leave a comment about why being a learner is important. And we diving deep because the only thing that I've learned in life is that we have to be a student of life to recognize that everyday lessons are being present. Yet they're being present, we don't understand what they are for. And the 3 points I really want to hit on, and the points are so important. First is spark curiosity. The points I want to hit on are curiosity. We have to spark curiosity for ourselves. The next point is self-directed learning. Last point I'm going to hit on is teaching others. So the first point is sparking curiosity. We have to be open to learn information that we don't know and are familiar with. I remember I was a little kid, and when I was a little kid, I used to ask a whole bunch of questions that didn't make sense. Yeah, I was asking questions because I didn't understand what was at hand. Even though I was asking questions, I got told stop asking so many questions because it just doesn't make sense for you not to know everything. I remember when I was younger, my mom used to tell me, like, son, it's common sense. Son, it's common sense. You're supposed to know how to do something. You're supposed to know how to work this time. Son, you're supposed to know how to work this skill. Son, you're supposed to know how to cook. Yet common sense is taught because everything that's common is not sense. Because I had to learn the skill. I had to be open to learn, and me being open to learn sparked my curiosity because it taught me to ask questions. Asking questions is not a bad thing, because when I ask questions, I genuinely want to know the answer. I genuinely want to know what the response is, because the response is going to help me later on in life. Even though I had to learn how to be a learner, and why this was so important, it taught me that growth happens when I become curious of my success. When I become curious of information that I never heard before. When I become curious and open to asking questions that will help me gain the knowledge to grow. See, curiosity is always in us, but we're just afraid to ask the questions. When my mama told me stop asking questions, like, son, you're asking too many questions, I stopped asking because I didn't think my questions were good enough. I didn't understand that my questions was helping me grow and build confidence in an area that I wasn't familiar with. Even though I wasn't familiar with it, I was learning how to ask questions. And as I got older, I start to learn that asking questions is the most important thing there is, because I have to be open to learning information that I do not know. I mean, when I was playing football trying to be a better player. So in order to be a better player, I have to be open to asking questions when I don't understand anything. When the coach get up and talk, when my high school coach got up and talking, he was talking and speaking. He was like, does anybody have any questions? Majority of the time, I was the one that said, nah, I ain't got no questions. I'm good. I don't have no questions. Yeah, when I actually start understanding that the power of the knowledge comes from within the question, that's when I understood that learning is a skill, because it starts with what you're asking. I didn't understand how I was asking wasn't bringing the answers I was looking for, because the answers I was looking for was so short and direct, it didn't give me the solution to my problem. It taught me I need to ask better questions to get a better response. What does that even look like? Instead of asking, how did your day go? Let me take it a step further and say, what did you do today that was so special? Because the question matters. The way you ask your question matter, because you are learning more about life. You're learning more about information that you're not familiar with, and you're learning how to present yourself in an uncomfortable manner. Rather not. Well, on the other hand, you're really presenting yourself as a confident, curious person, because you are curious about this information, because this information is going to change your life. I struggle with the questions because the questions wasn't the correct way to ask them. I didn't understand that when I learned how to be curious became my greatest asset, my greatest reward, because I'm asking everybody any question that I do not understand. Why? Because they have information that I lack. I can't be a learner if I'm not willing to learn from other people. When I ask questions, I'm asking questions that can help me in my life. Because it's information that I do not know. It's information that I haven't heard before. It's information that I'm not familiar with. Even though I wasn't familiar with it, it taught me how to be curious, and me being curious gave me the door and gave me the key to open the door to keep asking questions. Because questions will give you the answers to help you grow in life. That's what curiosity brings. Curiosity brings questions. We can't grow if we're not asking questions, because the questions that we have within us, we're afraid to ask because we don't want to sound crazy. We don't want to sound unintelligent because we don't know the information. At least I didn't want to sound unintelligent and be embarrassed, because I thought the question I was asking, they probably covered it multiple times. And what I've learned, even though they might have covered it multiple times, if I didn't understand it, do you mind rewording it one more time? Because I didn't understand what you just said. I didn't understand what you just stated, because what you stated was just so confusing to me. Do you mind presenting it in a different way? Why? Because I'm curious to learn this information. This information is going to help me later on in life. That's when I begin to understand that the power of the answer is from the question. And the question comes from curiosity. Curiosity has to be a daily skill that teaches us how to properly learn for ourselves. And that's why it's so important to be open to learning, because any and every information, we have to be open to learning something that we're not familiar with. I remember back in school, my worst subject was science, because I wasn't a good learner. I didn't recognize when I grew up and understood more about myself, science became the study of life, because life is what we do every single day. I mean, right now, at this moment right now, I'm actually learning about nutrition, and nutrition is so overwhelming because the words that they're using is so confusing. It's so confusing because they got something to do with scientific. It got something to do with science. I don't teach science because I failed it. So I can learn it. I can learn it and gain the information and gain the wisdom and gain the confidence so I can be better myself. That's when I learned that we have to be open to new information, because new information is going to change our life. And that's why I want to hit on self-directed learning. Self-directed learning is so important because we have to go out and test what we have been asking. We have to go out and try what solution has been presented to us. See, everything that comes for us is not going to be for us, because we have to see what works for us. And I didn't recognize that the questions I was asking was preparing us for growth, was preparing us for success, for preparing us for a journey to help us be more confident. And even though these self-directed learning was a skill that needed to be developed every single day, I had to learn that the mistakes I'm going to make is teaching me lessons that are going to help me become a better learner. It's helping me become a better learner, because now, and when I mess something up, I can go back to the source and ask, I did this, how can I fix it? How can I be better next time? So next time as I'm doing it, I can feel a little bit more confident, and what comes from this is even better than the first time, or the second time, or the third time. See, we have to be open and willing to ask questions, because questions is what's going to bring self-directed learning. When it's self-directed learning, we have to be open and willing to be okay not knowing what we are asking. I remember when I played football. Better yet, now I'm learning about nutrition, right? Diet and how to maintain your body and keep a good composure for yourself. I didn't understand that the food that we eat was destroying us internally because outside it wasn't helping us. So then I was at the gym a couple of days ago. When I was at the gym a couple of days ago, with this guy with the same height, but he has more muscle mass than me. He's more muscular than I am. And so I asked him, I say, man, I said, do you work out more or is it your diet? He said, bro, it's straight diet. And I said, hold on. I said, how? How does that make sense? And I said, man, how tall are you? He told me, I think he said 5'8". I said, man, hold on, that don't make sense. We're in the gym the same amount of time, but how you look better than me? Not on no hang stuff, but on an educational purpose. And he told me it's straight down, and he put me in contact with his nutritionist, and it told me, I'm like, oh, okay, let me contact him. Because this wasn't the first time that I heard of this nutrition. This was my first time actually reach out to him and speaking to him. And when we spoke, he was speaking the language that I didn't understand. So I started asking questions. I'm like, okay, so how many calories am I supposed to take? He said, man, how old are you? I said, man, I'm 24. He said, how much you weigh? I said, man, 205. He said, you want to stay between 1,800 and 2,000. I said, man, why? He was like, because you want to watch how many calories you are putting in your body. See, when he was talking to me, I was asking questions. I wasn't afraid to sound unintelligent because I wasn't familiar with that information. And then I said, man, you sound like you're a man of wisdom. You're a man of wisdom because you understand what you're presenting. He got to laugh and he was like, man, I've been doing this for 30 years. And just imagine that the knowledge that he has for himself. So I'm like, oh, okay. So I'm like, is there any information I can start learning from or I can start watching? He said, man, right now I have it. I said, cool. I appreciate you. Matter of fact, do you mind if I just keep your number? He said, yeah, you can keep my number. You can reach out. If I don't get back to you, then I'm busy, but I will get back with you. Then I'm like, cool, say no mas. Why did I ask that? Because if I don't know where to get the information, I have somebody that can help me along my way. Because I had to learn that it was the questions that gave me the answers to help me grow. To help me be okay not knowing this information, because I don't need to know everything. I just need to know somebody that can help me. Because if they're willing to help me, if I'm willing to help them, how can we grow together? How can we actually be efficient enough to where we're understanding the small details that we don't understand? See, being a learner of life is being open to new information, because the new information will teach us why this is important. See, health is important. People don't tell you that everything that goes behind it is so difficult. It's so much to understand. When I became a learner of life, I understood that everything that's worth doing has to be done on a continuous basis. Because if we're not trying to on a daily, consecutive basis, how can we grow and learn information that we ain't never saw before? This information is not new, yet it's new to me. Yet it's new to me because I'm learning something new. New doesn't mean that it's bad. New just means that it has to be learned. When I understood it has to be learned, I became a student of life, because now I'm understanding how important diet is. I'm understanding how many calories, slowly understanding why calories matter, why protein matter, why sugar matter, why fats matter, why sodium matter. I didn't know, I knew it, but I didn't know nothing about it until I start asking questions. I'm not afraid to sound crazy, because me sounding crazy is helping me gain the confidence to speak more about this topic. And when I understood that learning is a skill that has to be developed every single day, we can't be embarrassed to be curious, to grow into ourselves. We can't be embarrassed to self-direct our learning, because our learning is growing from our questions. And our questions get evolved because we have to understand that it comes from curiosity. Curiosity is the key to identifying answers that's going to help us later on in life. Before I get to the last point, if you haven't read Master Your Mind, 10 Tips to Shift Your Mindset, this book is so powerful because we have a chance to learn from other people's experiences. By other people's experiences, I'm saying you're able to learn from my experiences and recognize that you are not alone. I just want to read one paragraph of this book because it is so powerful, it's so impactful that I know it's going to help whoever is reading this. And this is what it says. Without knowing who I was, it was impossible to be myself. Don't get me wrong, I caught a glimpse of myself, but there was still so much to learn. That's why it's so important, because there's so much to learn, not just only for yourself, but for life in general. If you would like to purchase Master Your Mind, 10 Tips to Shift Your Mindset, the book will be in the description below. It will be a link in the description below. Make sure you click it and read it and learn more about the person that you are becoming. And the last point I want to hit on is teaching others, right? We have to be open to teaching others what we have learned, because what we have gained the experience is from the questions that we have asked. I didn't recognize that my confidence and my growing and my learning came from my curiosity. It came from my curiosity because I was open to asking questions to gain a better understanding for the topic at hand. Why? Because the topic at hand was so confusing, I can only understand it if I'm open to asking questions. And when I learned that me teaching others how to properly ask open-ended questions that doesn't end with a yes or no, it really dive into the explanation. Instead of saying, how did your day go? Short and simple, good or bad. What went good about your day? Open-ended question, because the open-ended question is going to give you the answer and solution to the problem that you're lacking. That's when I understood that when we're teaching others, we're teaching others from our experience. Our experience is the greatest teacher, because we have been through what we're going through. Because we decided, I had to decide to overcome my tough time, because my tough time was keeping me down, because it was an anchor that was on me. It was an anchor that was pulling me down because I was so comfortable not growing. I wasn't comfortable not growing because I didn't know how to properly learn. I didn't know how to develop the skill of learning to become better in life. And I didn't recognize that learning took time, and it doesn't happen overnight. Yet when we teach others, we're teaching from our experience, which means we have the belief and patience that what we're delivering came from our truth. It came from our truth because we are the ones that lived it. We are the ones that went through and experienced the curiosity, because the curiosity brought self-directed learning and how to teach others. See, there's one thing to learn about for yourself. But when you go out and teach it to others, when you teach it to others, people are learning more about themselves. Because you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make the horse drink it. Which means you can teach others the formula, you can teach others your experience, you can teach others your way. Yet if they don't understand or try for themselves, that's where we stay the same. We stay the same because we're not curious enough to even ask more questions. When a horse gets brought to the water, the horse is going to either drink it or not drink it. Yet the teacher did his job, because the teacher brought the horse to the water and gave him everything. When we go through tough times are present to teach others how to overcome their difficulties. See, we can only teach when we're able to be curious about questions or information that we do not know and understand. And as we're curious, we have to be able to be self-directed to learn how to be able to teach it to others. Because you have to experience what you are aware of. You have to experience of what you do not know. You have to experience what the information that you lack. Because as I'm giving it to you, you can take it or you can leave it. Yeah, when you take it and use it, we grow into the best version of ourselves. That's when I understood when I was speaking to my nutritionist. See, I can't even say the word. Nutritionist. I think that's where I don't know. He was telling me about food, about diet, about calories, about fat, about burning, about things I wasn't familiar with. Now he gave me the information. Now it's up to me to use it. It's up to me to use it because he can't make me drink that water. He can't make me drink that water because that water is just there. The water is the information that I got from the questions I was asking. Now I have to decide to use what I've been asking to teach others. That's when I learned that life is a journey, and as you're going along this journey, you learn more about yourself because we don't stop learning about who we are and what we want to do. What we want to do is a skill, and the skill has to be developed every single day. If you enjoyed this video and really got value from this, leave in a comment on how you are going to start learning and asking questions about things that you do not understand. I appreciate y'all. If you would like to watch more videos on how to personally develop within yourself, click this video right here and I'll see you there.